Hashem is so busy up there that, he doesn't care to these things. Yeshua smiled at him and he says, what do you think? It's afikorsut what you're thinking. It's becoming idol worshiper. Why? Because what is important for Hashem? This is not important. And you find something to be important for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. All of the stars, all of the sky, all of the heavens is important for Hashem. Something more. Everything is nothing for Hashem. What's important for Hashem is will. His will is that you should keep Shabbat. That's important. That's the thing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. Yes, Hashem wants that is in the midst of the land. Now to prove to this to second group that Hashem in the midst of the land, he sent Arov, the swarm of the wild beasts. Umalu bate, how does he prove it? He said, and he filled shall be the houses of Mitzrayim, Egypt, it Arov, with the wild animals, and also the land that's on it. Now the government says, what is it? Pashto means the land would be full of animals. But there is that one animal, it came all of the animal. There is the animal that lives in the land. It cannot come out of the land. It has to be in that land. Now Torah is saying, even that animal came there with his own land. Because he cannot leave the land, he cannot come to Mitzrayim. Even that animal came there with his own Adam, Hashem sent him there. All of the animals were there. And I shall set apart on that day Eretz Goshen, the Eretz of Goshen, Asher Ami Omed Aleha, that my nation standing there, Leviti Yochamaru, that should not be any wild animals there. Leman Teda, because you should know, Ki Ani Hashem Bekerev Haaretz. I'm God in the midst of land. Because there's a lion here. How does the lion know that should go here, not to go there? How does a tiger know? How does a tiger know to hunt this person or tear him apart, not to touch him? What? How come they know what to do? Nachash, snakes, all of the animals. Because there is a supervision of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ani Hashem Bekerev Haaretz. All of the Makkah didn't come from Mitzrayim. They came to create emunah for Kahal Israel. They have to understand there is HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the midst of the land. The pasuk is not a drasha, it's a midrash. It's a pasuk. Ani Hashem Bekerev. That one says Ki Ani Hashem, by the blood. Here it says on the midst of the land. With Samti Fedut, I will put distinction between my nation and your nation. The Machar Yahud does it. Tomorrow would be this sign. Vayas Hashem. Ken Hashem did. Vayav Aru, all of the beasts animal came. Kaved was severe. Beta Paro, again, house of Paro first, the most secure one. Ubet Avadab, servants. Ubechol Eretzlaim, all of the land Eretzlaim, Tishrachet Haaretz. Devastated the land, Bipenu Ha'arov, because of the wild animals. Vayigra Paro el Moshe ve'Aaron, Paro called Moshe ve'Aaron, Vayomer Lechu zivchu leElohechem.
Can we say the wild animal was
they should go and slaughter to your God in the land. What?
Can we say the wild animal was there because the Egyptian, they act so wild to the
Yeah, you could say that. That's very good. You should go to slaughter your God in the land. First he said that I let you go slaughter, but he didn't. Now he says, in the land. No, what is this? This idea is, now there are some cults in Jewish philosophy that they feel is a new cult. It's not a new cult. It's the idea of Paro. What's the idea of Paro? Be an Egyptian and keep Torah and mitzvot. What's wrong? You lechem ba'aretz in the land. Live like an Egyptian. Be like a goy and keep Torah and mitzvot. Any philosophy that says you could be like a goyim, think like goyim, be like goyim, and keep Torah and mitzvot, this is the idea of Paro. Because Paro knows if you do that, it's a destruction of Am Yisrael. Am Yisrael has to be separate. Am Yisrael cannot be Egyptians and keep Torah and mitzvot, because Torah and mitzvot doesn't work. Torah and mitzvot are there to make us distinguished, to make us the nation of Hashem. It's not as a ritual to do ritual. Therefore, this that some cults say, what's the distinction? Why should it be so different than Goyim? We should dress like them, we should be like them, we should be in their colleges, whatever that they do, we could do. and we could keep Torah mitzvot. No, this is the idea of Paro. In the land, you be Egyptians and keep Torah mitzvot. Because Paro knows better. He knows that if they stay Egyptians and keep Torah mitzvot, Torah mitzvot would not be stable by them. Moshe understood right away, it's not proper to do that. Keep to Avad Misraim, because the abomination of Misraim, Nisbach la Hashem Elokeinu, we studied God, here Nisbach to Avad Misraim, no, we studied the abomination of Misraim in their eyes, no, they're going to stone us, because they worship their sheep, and we want to shech the sheep. There, the journey of 3 days, Nelech by Midbar, we're going to Midbar, we studied for our God, just as I told us. Now, by 3 days, because we don't give a Nisayon to a person that cannot stand. First, we tell him 3 days, if he could stand in the Nisayon, then I will send them, we're going to study for us by Midbar. Don't go so far, and should daven for me also. I will go out with Tarti al Hashem and I will daven and treat to Hashem. And he's going to remove wild animals from Paro and his nation tomorrow. That I you say Paro there. That Paro should not continue to mock. To mock HaKadosh Baruch Hu again. It's a lot. A lot of times we promise, we say HaKadosh Baruch Hu we're going to do and we don't do. This is mocking Hashem. Here, the Paro is not real Paro. Paro, the fight between Paro and Moshe is a struggle that every Jew has. And Torah is teaching us what's the technique of Yetzer Hara. Yetzer Hara comes and mocks of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's okay, promise this and that, tomorrow don't do it. Just say it. Levilti shalach edam, not to send the nation. Hisbu vach Hashem, vayetze Moshe mi Paro, vayet Hashem entreated from Hashem, vayas Hashem, edvar Moshe, Hashem did, whatever Moshe said. Vayasal Harov, and he removed the wild animals from Paro, and his nation, lo tishar echad, remained even one. Vayachbet Paro edebo, and Paro hardened his heart. This time, and he didn't send all the nation. Moshe, Hashem said, send my nation to me. If you refuse to send my nation, and still you are holding it to them, I will send the hand of Hashem to your livestock, Asher basad in this field, basusim, horses, donkeys, camels, cattle, and sheep. They were covered node, they were an epidemic, covered node, very heavy, ta'un. There was a type of disease, epidemic, that contagious. Now again, now we are second group. What's the second group? That Hashem is within. Hashem is distinguished between Israel, between the cattle, livestock of Israel and livestock of the Israel. How could you do it? It's contagious. And from Israel, nobody, no animal would die. Why? Contagious, it gets there. How could you control? Because I'm Hashem beqerev haaretz, to prove that Hashem is beqerev haaretz. First Hashem moed lemor, Hashem put the appointed time, saying, Machar yaseh Hashem adavar haseh ba'aretz. Tomorrow HaKadosh Baruch Hu will do this. Vayaseh Hashem et adavar haseh dit, mimachar from tomorrow, yom od kol michne Mitzrayim, all of the michne livestock of Mitzrayim died, mimne ben Israel, lo met echad, one. Vayishtach Paro v'hinei lo met michne Israel, and Paro sinned, and he saw that didn't die from michne Israel, from livestock of Israel, even one, vayichbad le'vo, but hardened the heart of Paro, and he didn't send it. Vayomer Hashem Moshe v'Aaron, techu lachem, you should take melo chofnechem, the fist that which fits chofnechem, both your cupped hands, piyach kibshon, the soot of the furnace, the smoke of the furnace, the soot of the furnace, and Moshe should throw, there should be full fist of your cupped hands, both of you, and Moshe should be the one to throw it. Now the first three makot are earth, Aharon, Avodah, the three of them are Shamayim, or Moshe, because Kobach of Moshe was Torah from Shamayim to bring down, and three of them was HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now this one was Moshe and Aharon together, because was suit of Kibshon and through to Shamayim. Suit of Kibshon was both, Aharon was involved because it was Aretz, and Shamayim Moshe by himself. They will imagine you have two cupped hands of dust, a soot, and you throw it. How much it go? Shamayim lifnei baro v'haya la'avach, and it was dust. Al kol eretz Eretz Mitzrayim, that was a nest, was a dust, all of this. And it was on the man, on the animal, the shechin poreyach hababud. This dust went all over and became balls erupting into blisters. All of the Mitzrayim. And they took the suit of the furnace, and so on. Moshe threw it and was boils, blisters, erupting in Adam and animals. Therefore, it was so terrible that the Khartoumim, the magicians, couldn't stand in front of Moshe because of the boils, because the boils were Bachartoumim. Again, this also was a contagious thing. It came without the Hatra, because the third one comes without warning. And again, the Jewish people were saved. And Hashem strengthened the Paro. That's Hashem spoke to Moshe. Now we're going to go to the third group. What's the third group? Third group say there is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there are other powers also. Nature also has power. Like there is a Rabbi Kushner, that he wrote the Sefer, Why Bad Things Happens to Good People. He wrote the book because he had a child, that this child had a disease that he would grow 5-10 years in 1 year. That they would see the child is dying in front of their eyes. And he couldn't believe, how could HaKadosh Baruch Hu do something bad to me and bad to other people. But we have the Gemara. The Gemara says, Moshe Rabbeinu asked Avraham Levychaim that. And Hashem says, I do it as my things. And then he wrote the book that says why bad things happen to good people. And he quotes from this book that, bad things happen because HaKadosh Baruch Hu really, we have a sefer. That sefer, bad things happen to you. And at the end, Hashem spoke to him, came to you and told him. Now it's not clear what did Hashem tell him. Now he says that Hashem tells him that it's out of my hand. Things happen, so I can't control it. He decides to be apikoros. He decides to lose HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because that's not the definition of Hashem. Now, what really HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells you, Hashem told you that your shaychu with me makes it. In other words, once Ramban was a great Mekubal, he had a Talmud, he told his Talmud that he was about to die, he was sick. He said, when you go to Shamayim, I have questions that you should ask for me. And he said, when you go to Shamayim, say this and that, it's going to open the gates for you. His Talmud he died, he was niftar, and he goes to Shamayim, and comes to his dream, he says, Rabbi, I know how great you are, but in Shamayim, they talk about you, such a great person, Kabbalist, whatever that you said was true. And believe me, I took your questions, and I went, I said, one gate, whatever that you told me, they opened. I came to in front of Kisei HaKavod. Now, I looked at my questions, there wasn't any question to be asked. In that level, there is no question to be asked. And that's the point that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is talking to Iyov. He's telling him, lifting up his level of understanding of Hashem, that the questions are not questions. And that's why Sefer Iyov is for everybody. If it would be personal answer, it would be only for Iyov. Now, what's personal answer for me? Personal answer for everybody is that level up your dargah, understand Hashem better, relate to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're going to find your answers in life. Therefore here, Hashem told Moshe, Hashkim Baboker, now these people, they say there is Hashem, there are other powers also. Now HaKadosh Baruch Hu is proving there's only one power. Because this time, Ani Sholeach, I will say, Kol Magefotai, all of Magefotai, all of my plagues to your heart and your servant, your nation. What's the purpose of this makkah? Kien Kamoni is not like me on all of the land. What does that mean? I'm a superpower. Nobody is like me. En Kamoni. The first one was Besod Anisada. The second one, Bekere Varas, in the midst of the land. The third one is, I'm the only one unique. There is no power besides me. How does he prove it? For now, I could have sent forth my hand, and I could have stricken you and your nation by epidemic. When I present David, I could have killed you. And you would have been destroyed, obliterated from the land. But however, for this, I will make you endure in order to show you my strength. Ulman sapir shemi bechol haaretz. In order that you should talk, you should discuss my name with the strength in all of the world. Therefore, I just kept you alive to talk my greatness. You still trample my nation. I will rain this time tomorrow. Barat, hail, kabed meod, very heavy. That wasn't like this. From the time of founding till now. Now send and gather in your livestock. Any people or animal that it would be found in the field, and it would not be gathered home, where the barad would come on them and they're gonna die. Whoever feared the word of the God for Hashem from the slaves of the parto, hence made flee his servants and his livestock to the houses. The whoever didn't attend his heart to the Hashem, and they left the servants of Hashem. In other words, somebody doesn't pay attention to Hashem, it becomes more suffering and more suffering. He would destroy himself, he would destroy property. I was supposed to say the message. If you listen to message, you correct yourself, you correct. If not, it gets deeper and deeper. Stretch your hand, ala shamayim, shamayim. Therefore, this is shamayim. It comes from Moshe. And would be hail on the earth of Mitzrayim, on man, on animals, and all of the grass of the field. And Moshe stretched his staff on the towards Shamayim, on the Shamayim, Hashem Natan Kolot Ubarad, and Hashem sent thunder and hail, and darting fire earthward, Hashem Bach, Barad, and Hashem rained the hail, Barad, and it was hail, and the fire flaming midst of the hail. Kaven mode very heavy, was in from the time that was a nation. Therefore, what do we find here? Hail, what was hail? Fire and hail. Now, we know that the fire turns off the ice turns off fire, but the Akadosh Baruch Hu made them coexist together. What does that mean? I'm above nature. Because in nature, you can't have fire and ice both together. How come here fire and ice are both together? How is it possible to happen? It could happen if somebody is controlling both of them. If you are controlling both of them, then you could make them coexist together. And that Hashem did. And the barad, the hail, struck all of the land of Mitzrayim, the field, from the man, from the animal, the beast, and all of the grass of the field. Hika, barad, struck the hail, and all of the trees of the field, it smashed. Rach Beres Goshen, only land of Goshen, as Shom said, as Fresel, wasn't here. By Shtach, Paro, by Rale Moshe Aaron, Paro sent and called Moshe Aaron, Yom Alehem, says, Chatati Apam Hashem Asadir. I see this time, Hashem Sadir. In Russia says this time. Always blames is seen to an occasion, to something. He doesn't say that I said. This time means what? This occasion. No, it was because of my wife, because of my children, because of situation, because of pressure. A Russian never blames himself. That's why Chazal said, if you blame yourself and you say, Taka, I didn't do teshuva. Chazal said, Reshaim libam male charata. A wicked person, his heart is full of regret. Why is full of regret? Because the regret is not on himself. Regret on occasions. And he tries to change the occasions from one occasion to occasions. Therefore, it's full of charata, but it never comes to a result. But if the charata makes the person to understand that the problem is you should correct yourself. Person has problem in family life, always is my wife problem, my children, I'm okay. They will never would be fixed up. But always the finger has to go to a person himself. You can't change the world, and the world are not at fault. That's why you are at fault. No. You are at fault. You could demolish, you could polish, you could make the world to be a world of perfect world if you want. Because everything in the world is the vehicle for you to grow. And the opportunity of growth or not growth is not depending upon hapa'am. It depends on you. Chatati hapa'am. This time, this occasion, Hashem Sadiq, Hashem is Sadiq. Me and my nation are wicked. Now he blames the nations also. Ha'atiru el Hashem. Da'u el Hashem v'rav miyot golot Elohim ubarat. Ha'atiru el Hashem v'rav. More than enough. Miyot has been golot of thunder, of God, and hail. More than enough. It's enough. Dayenu. No, Dayenu comes from here on Pesach. Dayenu. I will send you. And should not stand. I will send you. Moshe told him, when I go out from the earth, the first said, Kapai, I will spread out my hand. I cannot daven here because it's Male Abudazora. El Hashem, Hakulot Yichtalun. The thunder will cease, Vahabarat Lo Ye'od, and the hail will not be any longer. The Ma'anteda, because so Kila Hashem Haaretz. Because Hashem, the land belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Therefore, I will do that. You and your servants. Yodati, I know, kiterem tirun, that not yet are you fearful. Mipene Hashem Elohim, because of the God, of Hashem God. But I know that you are not yet. The flax and the barley were struck. Why? Ki hasora aviv, because the barley was nearly ripe, and the flax was in stock. They were grown enough to get damaged by the hail. And the wheat and spelt lonuku, they weren't struck. Because they late ripening and they weren't growing enough to get damaged through hail. Now Rashi says, Aflodena meucharot, v'adaino rakot, la'amod b'fnei kasher. And still they were soft to serve kasher. V'afal pishne marvet kol ese v'sadeh hikabarat, even though that the apostle says all of the grass of the field, the barat, the hail struck, yesh לפרש פשוטו של מירה, בעשאי עומדים בקלחם רואים לקוד ברabara. In other words, over there it says, Kol eseh v'sadeh hika bara. All of the grass of the field, the bara destroyed. But here we say that chita v'kusemet, the grain and the spelt, were not destroyed because aflodema, because they late ripening and they are soft. The softer you are, when something hard comes to you, you are flexible. But when it grows enough and it's ripe, it's kasher. When it's kasher, when something kasher comes, it's not flexible, it breaks in. Now, Rashi is saying that how could you say that chita kusmebe, they weren't struck? The apostle says before, kol eseh v'sadeh. All of this apostle before says, right, we saw by his hair, he says, with kol eseh v'sadeh, kol eseh v'sadeh, abarat hikabarat, pasuk hafeh. Therefore, how could you say that's not? It is. Yesh tefarish pishto she'mira, ba'asay amdi beqalachem arohim lekot b'rah. You have to say kol eseh over there, that means kol eseh, that grown enough, that was kasher, it was hard enough. Therefore, that's the pshat. No, that's afelot means late ripening. Now, that's the pshat. Midrash, listen to Midrash. Midrash ibn Chuma, yesh rabbeinu shenichlu al sod. They argue with this. In other words, the Midrash says plao. Afilot doesn't mean from Russian of late ripening that they were soft. It means they plowed. They were really wonders and wonders. What then play that they weren't laku, they weren't struck. Really, they should have been struck, but they didn't strike. And the first say, what's pshat? What's pshat? Hashem say, you know, we write Sefer Torah with Kana. Why do we write Sefer Torah with the reed, Kana? Hashem said, because Kana is flexible. When a wind comes, he humbles himself, goes down. A very strong tree, trunk tree, when a wind comes, stands and sometimes would be uprooted because of strong wind. But Kana, because when strong wind comes, it's humble itself. Hashem says, I love that. I love being humble. Kana is being humble. If I choose that for writing my Sefer Torah, my Kodesh HaKodashim should be right with Kana because it's humble. Now here we are to teach Paro with all of your majesty and all of your power, everything is collapsing. Do you know why? Do you know what's your problem? Because you don't want to be humble. You want to be rigid. You want to stand on your idea. The Mitzrayim is getting destroyed and you're not doing anything. Why? Because you are stubborn. You are like those trees that they were hard, like a rock, and all of them got uprooted through hail. They didn't stand up. Why? Because they didn't want to show flexibility. If you show flexibility, if you are like them, you humble yourself, no matter how strong the wind is, cannot uproot you, cannot destroy you. The secret of life is being humble through HaKadosh Baruch Hu, being humble in front of Hashem. Hashem is the great majesty, great power to strike and to do. But if you are humble, if you bow down, if you put your head down, you're gonna maintain yourself. You're gonna stay. You're gonna have a stand. But if you make yourself stiff, if you make yourself to be rigid, you are stubborn in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're gonna lose. That was the point of this makom. Ayetze Moshe min Paro, Moshe v'Aaron et ha'ir, v'amha'ir, v'yiflos kapav el Hashem, and he spread out his hand to Hashem, v'yachtelu hakolot v'haparad, and they seized the thunder and the hail, u'matar lo nitach arsa. And the matar, the rain didn't come down to earth. In other words, the Farshim said, lo nitach lo yigiya. In Rashi, af otan shayu be'avir lo yigiyu la'aretz. Even those, now what about at the time of ceasefire? What happens to the hail that's in the air? Right. In other words, not what about lo nitach arsa? Should say it didn't come down. What mean it didn't come down? Rashi says, af otan shayu be'avir lo yigiya la'aretz. V'dom lo v'titecha elyon v'titecha alenu ha'ala v'hashuvua v'takia elenu menachem. In other words, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to say, right? In other words, Hashem wants to say that's not a magician, it's not power Ma'arechet Shamayim. If it's Ma'arechet Shamayim, once it comes down, you can't do anything about it. But here it says that even those that they came down, they stopped to show the majesty of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's the power of Hashem. Paro saw that seized the rain and the hail, v'hakolot and thunder, and he continued to sing. This is the attitude of Paro. Once there is a pressure, once there is a pain, and he hardened his heart and he saves. They say that somebody saw a very delicious fruit on the top of a tree, so they'll go up to eat the tree, and he put a very, very high ladder, and he goes up, he gets to the tree, and he takes the fruit. Now, when he wants to come down, all of a sudden the ladder fell. He finds himself in the middle of the sky, on top of a tree, such a tall tree. What does he do? He says that in the foxhole, there is no atheist, something like that. Means once you are in danger, you are not atheist. You daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem, if you help me out to come down, I give $100,000 tzedakah. He was a very rich man, $100,000 tzedakah. Therefore, he was so trembled and, he's scared to death. He puts his foot a little bit down, and he comes 1/4 of the tree down. He says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, thank you very much, but Hashem, I made a mistake. It's not so terrible. I could manage. I don't give $100,000, I give $50,000. It's not so terrible. Then still he's scared to death to some extent, and he comes a little bit more down, he comes to halfway. Feels more relaxed. Says, thank you, Hashem. Really, it wasn't such a big job. I made such a big deal out of it. I give $25,000. He comes down 3/4, says, that's really a joke. What is it? I was a child, I did many of these things. I was older a little bit, I was scared. I give, $5,000 tzedakah, Comes down and down and down. It gets, okay, a couple dollars I give tzedakah because of this is our story of our life. We are in the peak. We are ready to do everything. We come down and down. That's the attitude of Paro. We are not learning history to tell us what Paro thinks. It's not a history. It's our life. Our life, we have a debate between Paro. If you learn this parasha with somebody, is older person, is a 30-year-old. He says, what? It shows that Paro is challenging HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How could you challenge Hashem? How could Paro challenge Hashem? They say, when Napoleon he was trying to capture the world, the Russians came and fought against him. In the very cold winter, they put on the jackets and the snow, they went to fight. And they fought with Napoleon and they got defeated. But the history says Russia was first army to go against Napoleon, even though that they were defeated, but there was a victory. What was the victory? The victory was they taught the rest of the world that Napoleon you could fight with. Everybody felt Napoleon is such a great army, such a great that he cannot fight with. Now they realize that he could be fought with. Now, lahavdil, if you apply that to here, you see in the parasha, HaKadosh Baruch Hu becomes vulnerable. They fight. Paro fought with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How do you understand that? Well, we heard the story from our childhood, we got used to it. But when you think about it, everybody says Mitzrayim is the glorious of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Apostle says, Ani Hashem, I'm so strong, this and that. But when you deeply learn the parasha, what type of business is that? It shows the majesty of Hashem, or it shows that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is you could challenge Hashem, right? We thought that you can Paro challenge 1 time, 2 times, 4 times. What's the shot? Hashem say, the majesty of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not to show His greatness. Hashem knows that He's so great and we know. What's the majesty of Hashem? Here the fight is not between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Paro. It's between Moshe and Paro. What's the fight? Is the struggle that every Jew has fight inside. And Torah is telling us the technique how to overcome Paro. Torah is going through this parashiyot to show the greatness of Hashem. What does greatness of Hashem means? The greatness of Hashem is when you could overcome Yetzer Hara. When you could show Paro that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the king. You make Hashem king over Yetzer Hara. That's the greatest majesty of Hashem. All of these parashiyot are there to teach us how does Paro think, how Paro is going to cheat us. You should learn it and find Paro within ourselves. If you learn the parasha, you say, such a stupid person. How could you think like that? How could you talk like that? You miss the parasha. If you learn the parasha to identify Paro within yourself and see the debate within yourself and use the Torah to help you. That is Paro, that is Moshe, that's Paro, that's Moshe. And that challenge you could overcome and override Paro, that's the greatest Kedush Hashem. That's the greatest Malchut of Hashem. Malchut of Hashem is not in the sky, it's not no place, it's within the heart of a Jew, within the mind of a Jew. That should not be defeated through Paro, because once you are defeated by Paro, you are avodim of Paro. All of the Yetziat Mitzrayim is that we are not avodim of Paro, we are avodim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How are we avodim of Hashem? When Yetzer Hara overrides, when Yetzer Tov overrides Yetzer Hara. All of these parashiyot are here to teach us that. Paro, and Hashem strengthened the heart of Paro, which Shlach ben Yisrael said, Hashem diber Hashem, that Hashem said, Yad Moshe, in the hand of Moshe, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said that's going to happen, and Hashem is doing that to teach us how to overcome Paro. That's the Pesach that we learn about Paro and Mitzrayim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling us the privilege of Am Yisrael is that, these are, whatever that happens, the Makot, is for Am Yisrael. It's for our forefathers, our family. Lel Pesach, we sit down and tell our children, all of these things happen for us. How privileged we are, how precious we are, how much Hashem loves us, that does all of these things for us to learn in life not to be like Paro. You have to be humble in front of HaKadosh Baruch. What does being humble mean? Person has to listen to Shulchan Aruch. Person has to listen to laws of HaKadosh Baruch. Person has to keep the laws and Shulchan Aruch. That's the greatest sign of humbleness and the greatest sign of the bracha.